when Jessica first emailed me, I was like, woohoo, right up my street, because it's sort of, I love kind of 60s and 60s fashion and things like that. So it's almost, we had a lot of stuff straight away that we wanted to do, and we kind of agreed on a few reference images, which luckily we had the same kind of taste. So then it was more of a case of narrowing it down rather than building it up. But yeah, we wanted it to be sort of quite casual, quite kind of kooky, but a little bit styled, but not, we wanted it to look natural. We raided our wardrobes basically, so we both brought along a load of stuff, and luckily we've got everything we need. I think between us, we could probably start up a vintage clothing store. So it kind of suits my sort of style and personality as well, and my kind of colour palette, I guess. I said earlier, I've got a bit of an obsessive colour palette going on with kind of pastels and just kind of washed out colours and like no kind of fluorescence or anything like that. So yeah, it's right on my street really. And I like the versatility as well. There's quite a lot of room to do something like this again that could be completely different, for example, like the 70s maybe? I use this, it's a Leica 3F and it's 52 years old, I believe. So my dad gave this to me. It's just beautiful. So I use this because I thought obviously it's in keeping, and I wanted to use film because I love the kind of tones and things. And I used Kodak Portrait film, which is just kind of gives a lovely like soft kind of muted colours effect, which should be exactly what we're looking for. And then also I've got my 5D as well, Canon, which I just took a few snaps just as backup, just in case this one doesn't come out. Yeah, that's about it really. And my aged light meter. This came from Germany as well about 40 years ago. Generally, I always shoot with natural light if I can, just because I kind of like the softness, and I think you can be quite flexible with natural light. I didn't want it to look too like punchy or anything. I wanted it to look much more natural. And then outside, it just kind of went with the look. I mean, the Twiggy photos that we saw that we liked were all kind of, obviously they were posed, but it just looked like it was her kind of going around her day. You know, she's just come out of her flat and she just looks like she's going around her day-to-day life, really. So I thought if we kind of brought in lights and stuff, it just makes it much more staged, and then you kind of lose that moment of it being spontaneous. So yeah, we were lucky that it wasn't too rainy or anything today. Well, it wasn't raining at all, but we were lucky. We had a big softbox with the clouds, so it was good. Yeah, she's really good actually, because she's got the build and like frame and face for it anyway. And I thought she was great as Twiggy, and she's very good at sort of, if you say something to her once and she always remembers. And quite often I'd be like, oh, can you just do this? And then she'd do it before I'd even asked her, which was amazing. So yeah, good, we'll have her again.
I quite like doing period stuff, so the usual kind of pale lips and big eyes and big eyelashes and stuff, bigger the better really, and it's kind of over the top, and I love that kind of stuff, so yeah. I use number 7 Beautiful Skin BB cream because I really like it because it gives a really nice flawless finish without being too heavy. And I also used matte concealer and Ben Nye foundation as well. I guess kind of like just the pale face and kind of like very fresh and youthful. If you put on too much makeup or whatever, sometimes it can feel really dated, so a modern twist is probably the one we're going for. I basically did 2 French plaits down the side and then twisted them into a bun, so it looked like it was kind of more polished and a lot shorter, and just kept the sweeping fringe because that was very of the era. I tried to do a sort of a 60s bob, and what you do is you kind of back comb the hair and you twist it around and you kind of tuck it underneath. And because she's got quite fine hair, that didn't work so well because also it was quite a windy day, so we went back to the shorter style. Yeah, it was great, it was really good. She was very natural. Considering she's never done any modelling before, it was pretty impressive.
quite weird actually, because as you said, I'm always like taking the pictures, not in them. So it's a bit of a weird experience really. I didn't quite know what to expect because you don't really know what you're doing. You always think your arm's a bit funny, your face is a bit like wonky or something like that. So you never know if you're doing the right thing or not. But Milly gave me such a great direction in terms of like what to do with my like mouth and my eyes. They say, you know, smile with your eyes, and what to do with my hands and my arms and everything like that. So she was a great photographer to work with when it came to direction. Especially with the false eyelashes as well. I always try and think big eyelashes, big eyes, and you know, sort of moody faces and everything. But having the hair differently kind of puts you into a different character as well. And it's amazing what a bit of like hair and makeup can do to a person to change their sort of like character and take them back to the 60s as well, which is quite nice. So I think half the outfits were my own and the other half were Milly's clothes as well. So it was all done, you know, on the cheap, you know, these were all our own clothes, we didn't have to hire anything or anything like that. So it was just a case of putting on the right accessories and right props, and then having the hair and makeup makes the most of it really, because this is a dress from, 2013, and yet we were shooting 1963 instead, so it was like 50 years ago, and yet the fashion still comes around. So it's always good to have those pieces if you're a photographer or a stylist or something to refer to, because you never know when you're going to use them again. Because like when we looked at the pictures, you know, it's all central London. When you think Twiggy, 60s, it's all London centric, and the fact that we got to shoot in a house in Kensington, it was just like you couldn't have got in any better location than where we were today. Especially with the doorsteps and having the props like the little milk bottles and, you know, the old Kodak camera brownie and stuff like that. It was, yeah, all the little things that make the big difference as well as like shooting in this great Victorian townhouse. It's brilliant. You kind of like get into the zone, and I think it was fine, even though, you know, it's mid-March and it should be warm. It's actually like 6 degrees out there, so it's very cold, especially when you're not wearing any tights or like a coat or anything. But it was fine. You kind of have a cup of tea afterwards and it all goes away, and you think, right, just focus, get into the zone, do what you have to do. And you know, modeling's quite hard, and you're using your arm muscles and your stomach muscles. It's not as easy as people might think it is, but I had such a great time doing it. I've never done it before, so I was completely nervous. I had bad butterflies this morning, but looking forward to seeing the pictures, so it'll be good.